Next card, Bastion of Remembrance. 2 and a black enchantment. When Bastion enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature, not non-token creature, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So we've seen a lot of effects like this. Like a lot of 2-mana 1/1s and 0/1s. That whenever your stuff dies, you get to drain the opponent out. They usually come with a creature body. But this one does too. But it's an enchantment that spits out a token. And then it specifically works with tokens. Usually they say non-token on them. Cat Oven. Yeah, it's pretty good with Cat Oven. Get your drain on. Also gives you a permanent source of devotion if you're doing Grey Merchant shenanigans. Yeah, Mardu Sacrifice, Commander, a lot of different openings. It'll be interesting to see how much the non-token, like not having the non-token clause matters. I feel like form some constructed decks that didn't exist otherwise. Next card. Oh, what about limited? Do you play this in limited? It's a little sketchier. Like obviously it has its like constructed and EDH pulls. I don't think you do play this in limited. Getting a 1/1 for 3 mana is pretty rough. You need to have a lot of creatures die before it starts to matter. Incidental life gain is good in limited though. Incidental life gain is good. Wouldn't be your first pick? Yeah, no, clearly not. If you have a lot of them, oh yeah, play out like 3 of these. Just make it impossible for your opponent to trade with your things ever. You could play with human synergies. Oh, that's true. Yeah, if you're playing this with human synergies, you also have like a ton of bodies. That's just like the bulk of your deck is creatures too. If you're doing human synergies, then it starts to make sense. And then the 1/1 is more than just a 1/1. It's also like getting buffed or buffing your other things. Yeah, I like where your head's at. That's a good point. All right, Blitz Leech. 5 and a black for a 5/2 with Flash. When enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent control gets -2/2 until end of turn. Remove all counters from that creature. Oh man, that's juicy. That's a juicy ability. I like this card. It's hard to play too many 6-drops in your limited deck. And obviously it's costed for limited, not constructed, right? But that's a sweet set of abilities, right? And this is going to blow out some combats. You can be like pretty far behind on board, and then all of a sudden your opponent's best thing loses all of its counter abilities and gets shrunk and trades with one of your other things, and then the Blitz Leech trades with their 5-drop or whatever it is. Or even like eats their creature, right? If they're just attacking you with one thing, if you shrink it enough, the Blitz Leech actually wins combat. But if they're attacking you with a 3/4 and you just like shrink it and kill it, then you can just smack them with your 5/2. There's a lot of situations where I could see this card doing work, is what I'm getting at. I'm not excited to play it. I'm not excited to play like any common 6-drop, but it's not unplayable. Blood Girdle. 3 to black instant, destroy target creature, put a menace counter on a creature you control. Nice. This is a really strong limited play, huh? Menace is a relevant ability, and then 4 mana to instant speed destroy a creature would already be good enough, so the menace is just value. Yeah, this is a first pickable removal spell for sure. Boot Nipper, 1 and a black, 2 and a 1. Boot Nipper enters the battlefield with your choice of a Death Touch counter or a Lifelink counter on it. Yeah, Child of Night is already like reasonable and limited, right? You play 2 mana for your 2/1, and it's got Lifelink, and that matters sometimes. Like sometimes you get a hit in with it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it just trades, and then you like gain life on the trade. Having the ability to give it Death Touch is really nice. Because limited Death Touchers are always good. Like if Like if you're playing against green, for example, they've got their big ol' honking creatures, and they need to attack you on the ground, then Death Touch really, really shines. So you're more likely to give it lifelink if you're in a racing situation, like if your opponent only has flyers and stuff, or if they're red and like you're just always going to trade with all of their stuff anyway. And then you give it Death Touch versus like big ol' honkin' green decks and make it hard for them to attack. Sweet little card. Bushmeat Poacher. 3 and a black, 2/4, 1 mana, sacrifice another creature. You gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Draw a card. Not a bad effect. It's pretty important that you can do this at instant speed, so you can like respond to opposing removal spells. Also note that it says sacrifice another creature. It can't sack itself. It'd be pretty good if it could sack itself. It's still pretty good, but it would go from like pretty good to really good. The flavor text on Boot Nipper. I have a number of hyper-specific phobias, and this somehow hits all of them. That's pretty good. Call of the Death Dweller. 2 and a black. Return up to 2 target creature cards with total converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a Death Touch counter on either of them, then put a Menace counter on either of them.
Oh shit, what up?
This is kind of a hard card to get value from. So you're getting up to 2 target creature cards with total converted mana cost 3 or less. Total converted mana cost means that you can have a 2-drop and a 1-drop, or a 3-drop and a 0-drop. Hey, Iron Wolf, thanks for the sub. Thanks for 27 months. And Lepitherathon, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 6 months there. Wait, another sub. Oh, hi there. Oh, hi there, indeed. Yeah, Menace Death Touch Regisar is pretty strong. Pretty strong thing. Yeah, Chain Whirler is kind of a combo. And it works with Chain Whirler and Pioneer, just giving the Chain Whirler Death Touch and murdering all of their things. I think Pioneer is the most likely home for it. I've heard about people talking about recurring multiple Death Shadows in Modern, but that doesn't actually appeal to me. Like, I think, because at that point you have to have multiple Death Shadows in your graveyard, right? And you're only playing the 4 Death Shadows. I think it's way better to just play Kolaghan's Command and just always make sure that you always get your value. Then play this and like get absurd value sometimes, and then not value, just have it like rot sometimes. Yeah, Unearth seems better. Unearth seems better, Kolaghan's Command seems better. You could Death Shadow plus Snapcaster, or Death Shadow Tarmogoyf. You could do that. And then you've turned this card into a 2 for 1. But Kolaghan's Command is always a 2 for 1. It doesn't need any work. It's just always that. Anyway. Yeah, so the interesting part, as Chad has already pointed out, is probably Call plus Chain Whirler in Pioneer. I don't think that's good enough for Modern. It's not good enough against... not every deck in Modern is playing creatures that you want to kill, and especially invest that many cards into killing. And there's already a big clump. When you're playing like Mardu or Red-Black, there's a big clump on 3 already. With Seasoned Pyromancer being so good. There's just like not really a home for it, I don't think. But in Pioneer, sure. Absolutely. There's more creatures that care about board presence and like having a mass of creatures in Pioneer. And there's less good cards to compete with, right? Sure, yeah, give Mayhem Devil Death Touch. You could do that in Standard. Hey, Traits, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 5 months. Favorite card from this set? Haven't gone through the whole set yet. Can't answer that. I'll answer that at the end. You probably won't play it on 3. Yeah, but if you're not playing it on 3, then it's too slow for Modern, so... that's another problem, right? You can't get 3 Vexing Devils. You can return up to 2 target creature cards. Max you can do is 2 Vexing Devils. Best I can do is $5. Alright, Cavern Whisperer, 4 and a black, 4/4, Menace. Whenever this creature mutates, and it's got mutate for 3 and a black. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent discards a card. So when you see that there's like a limited mechanic in the format. Like, you know, there's gonna be a draw card in blue and a discard a card in black. It's just intuitive. This base body is really nice though. 5 mana for a 4/4 with menace. You almost just don't even need to mutate it ever for it to be totally reasonable. Nice little card. And sometimes you get discard value. Odds are by the time you do mutate this or play it or mutate onto it, the opponent doesn't have that many cards left in their hand too. So you're gonna get some good ones. Yeah, the alert is sweet. Look at that. Tutoring Harvester, 5 and a black for a 4/6. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So 6 mana for a 4/6 is a little expensive, but the mutate's only 5. I've actually been scarred by repeatable edicts. Yeah, emotionally scarred. And this doesn't seem hard to me. Like on turn 5 to edict the opponent and have a 4/6, you just need to have like some random 1/1 in play. A non-human 1/1, but still. Yeah, those fucking Gorgons. So I'll have to see it in action, but there's a chance that this is one of the better uncommons in the set, right? For limited. Not a constructed card, but scary. Mutate does remind me of Merge. It does seem similar. Maybe more repeatable. Yeah, if people are spending a whole lot of time like Voltroning a specific creature with mutate, the edicts are going to be real strong too. Alright, Corpse Turn, 1 and a black, instant. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, then you return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice. Awkward to fire off on turn 2, but recurring like your best thing in the late game. It's pretty strong. Dark Bargain, 3 and a black. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 2 into your hand and the others into your graveyard. Dark Bargain deals 2 damage to you. Dark Bargain's a great card. It's like perfectly costed. Yeah, solid reprint for sure. Deadweight, also a nice little reprint. The art reminds me of a scene in Watership Down that was traumatizing to me as a child. But that's fine. We're just going to move on. We're just going to move on to the next card. Dirge Bat, 2 black black. Flash Flying, ooh, it's a rare. Mutate, 4 black black. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Okay. So 4 mana for your 3/3 flying with flash. Not really competing with the other 4 drops in constructed. But it does have flash, so you can like instant speed kill your opponent's creatures and planeswalkers and such. You need to have a body in play. 6 mana is steep, yeah. I think if the mutate was like 4, then this would almost certainly see constructed play. If it was 5, it'd be like, well, this will probably see constructed play. And at 6, I'm like, ah! Can you instant speed mutate? You can with this one. It's got flash. Mutate onto it. Yeah. So you flash it into play on your opponent's end of turn, and then you'll untap and mutate some other creature onto it and start destroying things. That could work. That could work out. Hey, Treebeard, the end. Thanks for the sub. Thanks for 18 months. Treebeard says it seems like mutate in general is overcosted for what it does. Are you talking? Well, it's obviously not, right? Because in limited, like a lot of these mutate things are pretty busted, right? Like we already talked about Chittering Harvester. I was talking about how, like, Chittering Harvester might be the best uncommon in the format. And it's pretty rare that the set mechanic has like all of the cards be like constructed playable, right? And we already saw one mutate card that like pretty clearly looks constructed playable, like the blue Ophidian, the Sea Dasher Octopus. So I don't think you can make the claim that like mutate is not good enough for what it's costed or whatever, because they're all costed differently. They're costed for different formats, and there are some that do look constructed playable.
Oh shit! What up?
I'm not sure about this one. I agree with the people that are saying that you want to mutate onto it. It's a lot more efficient that way. But if you have to use it to mutate, it's not like the worst. It's not the worst plan B. We'll see. Hey, Jabslot, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 10 months. Durable Coilbug. 1 in a black. 2/2. 5 mana, return it from your graveyard to your hand. It's not a bad little, skeleton, huh? I mean, it's not a skeleton, but you get what I mean. So you have 7 mana to recur it every turn. Or you can split it up for 5 and 2 over 2 turns. But I mean, 2 mana for a 2/2 body. Usually you want a few of those in your limited decks already. So if you get anything else out of your 2 mana 2/2 body, you're usually pretty happy about it. If Red Black Sacrifice is a deck in this format, you're just like always gonna want 1 or 2 of these. Duskfang Mentor, 3 mana for 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, put a lifelink counter on target non-human creature you control. And then you can pump your creatures with lifelink. Interesting. So giving a creature lifelink is way worse than giving a creature flying, like the blue one. But pumping a creature with lifelink can be a lot better. And lifelink tribal is like not the worst limited strat. I think this card's good. Easy Prey does have some dope art. There's always a bigger fish. 1 in a black. Instant. Destroy target creature with converted mana cost 2 or less. And it's got cycling. So usually, you have to have some amount of early removal in your slower constructed decks. So it's kind of nice to have your like early removal spell not be dead against control decks or not be dead in the super late game. I like it. Extinction Event, 3 in a black, sorcery. Choose even or odd. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. This card's sweet. You're just like gonna get one of the companion players that has to like build their entire deck around like evens or odds or whatever. That's gonna get them. Could be nuts, could be shit. Extinction Event, yeah. This art's actually getting auctioned, and I've been like tightening my purse recently, and it's making me sad because I've got Winds of Wrath on my wall, and it would look so good next to Winds of Wrath, just to have a wall of bones. It's fucking sick. I like how the creature gives it like this little splash of color in this boneyard too. That's the kind of art that appeals to me. I don't think this card's going to see a lot of constructed play. But if you ever do cast it, you're going to murder someone. Exile's good. Exile is pretty good. Only hitting some of your opponent's things is a little rough. Especially because your aggro opponents are curving out, right? They're like 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. If you're on the play, you're casting this now, and like you're hitting 2 things, but like you're leaving one of their things behind. You think it'll be sideboard strong? I could see that. Oh, this hits Dream Trawler, right? You can just like straight up exile it. You don't have to try and edict it or whatever. Exiles all tokens when you name it. When you name even, yeah. You like it in mid-range mirrors? Yeah, even if you're playing like a complete mirror, it should be easy to sculpt a game where you get value out of this. Deals with Uro. Deals with a Uro, yeah. I just like play another one because they're playing 4. You get the permanent exile though. That's true. Against Dream Trawler, exiling is pretty relevant because they rebuy it with Elspeth's whatever. That stupid saga. ECD? Yeah, Elspeth cease and desist. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the casting cost is equal to the top creature when you're mutating. So it might be interesting to try and play around this. Hard to play around a rare and limited unless your opponent's you've seen it out of your opponent. Once you have, maybe mutate helps you split your creatures up that are in play. Yeah. ECD. Elspeth, CD's nuts. What? Anyway, Gloom Pangolin, 2 and a black, 1/5. Nightmare Pangolin. Yeah. I guess this is probably some person's nightmare. This is a nightmare of a Goblin Piker. Grim Dancer, 1 black, 3/3. Grim Dancer enters the battlefield with your choice of 2 different counters. Among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Wow, that's a sweet little card. So you'll be able to grow with your other uncommon. I mean, they're uncommon, so you're not going to get both super often, but it'll happen. And then, like, being able to choose between Menace, Death Touch, or Menace, Lifelink is pretty strong. Or if you're on the defense, you can do Death Touch, Lifelink. And this card's sweet. You're just, like, always going to play it in your black decks. Never get cut. Not a constructed playable. It's like not costed for constructed. You can tell because it's an uncommon, not a rare, see? I'm so cynical. Heartless Act. 1 in a black. Instant. Choose 1. Destroy target creature with no counters on it. Or remove up to 3 counters from target creature. So I've seen people talk about Heartless Act with... Yeah, but this is an uncommon removal spell. Not like a creature beater, right? Did I skip over Easy Prey? I did not. No, we talked about that. Yeah, Thing in the Ice. I've seen people talk about it with Thing in the Ice. Which is kind of cute. Thing in the Ice says it enters the battlefield with 4 ice counters. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from Thing in the Ice. Then, if it has no ice counters on it, transform it. So the way that Heartless Act works with Thing in the Ice is you play your Heartless Act. The Thing in the Ice triggers. Before the Heartless Act resolves, Thing in the Ice triggers, and it goes from 4 counters to 3 counters. And then the Heartless Act resolves, and it removes the 3 counters. And then Thing in the Ice has no counters, but it also doesn't have a trigger, because that's already resolved. So the Thing in the Ice will not flip from just Heartless Act. You do need another spell. That said, Thing in the Ice is a pretty good card, and Heartless Act is a pretty good card already by just destroying target creature with no counters on it. So that's hitting like most of Modern, or most of Pioneer. Not everything, but, you know, nothing kills everything, right? Nothing for 1 in a black anyway. So your Thing in the Ice decks will, that are playing blue and black will be playing Heartless Acts, but it's not going to be like some busted combination. But it's going to be like pretty easy to flip thing on turn 3 if that's what you want to do. Sweet card. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5 for constructed. Bad against Druid combo. Oh, because you can't kill Devoted Druid with it ever. It'll just like give it a -1/-1 counter in response. Yeah. You can kill everything else though. But Druid is the one that you want to be able to kill all the time. Oh, Wet Lettuce. I was joking about creatures designed to attack. How many 3-mana 3/3 uncommon creatures have you seen be constructed playable? Can you name one? Can you name one? Come on. Whereas there's plenty of removal that's like playable and limited and constructed, right? At all rarity, pretty much. Black's had a lot of these. Real Spellbreaker. That's a 4/4. That's a 4/4. Oh man, we gotta. I opened the floodgates. A lot of the cards you're naming are not just 3/3 beaters. A lot of those cards have some sweet abilities attached, and they're rare. They're Chain Whirlers are rare. I think most of what people have named have actually been rares. Yeah, Mayhem Devil's not really a beater, right? It's like machine gunning down everything. It is an uncommon. Mayhem Devil is an uncommon. I will give it that. Mayhem Devil is close. Boros Reckoner, that's a rare. Ramgang is one. Ramgang is one. Ramgang is also super fucking dusty old. But I will give you Ramgang. This card has an ability, but it's not a value ability. You're not getting value off of this. Grim Dancer's ability is, I've got some static things that matter in combat. It is literally just a beater. So you can compare it to Bogart Ramgang, but I don't think you can beat it to you can compare it to Mayhem Devil. Nighthawk. Nighthawk kind of saw constructed play. Kind of. But yeah, that's fair. Lifelink and Death Touch are pretty sweet. I'm probably underselling Grim Dancer. An Axe is a beater. That's true, an Axe is a beater. That's another really good one too. And that's a modern one too. An Axe solves some pretty specific problems. But that's a good rebuttal to my you can tell by the rarity symbol comment. Alright, good job, chat. Way to successfully rebuke me and make me eat my words. I like knowing when I'm being unfair. Or wrong. Hunted Nightmare, 1 black. Creature Nightmare, Menace! When Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a Death Touch counter on a creature they control, 4/5. Now you can tell that this is costed for constructed because of the rare symbol right here. That's a... So, people that have been watching the stream recently have noted that I'm on a huge Regisar kick, and that is not just standard and modern and pioneer Regisar. I've been doing some Dark Ritual aggro and Legacy and having a lot of fun with it. And I've been missing like one more card that's like kind of similar to Regisar. And this might do that. A 4/5 is like not as large as a 7/6, of course. It's not the same clock. But I'll probably try it out. Also, the downside. Menace is a really good ability, but the downside could be pretty large against some opponents. Like giving a Thalia a Death Touch counter. This seems not worth it, right? Combos with other Menace cards in the set. That's true. There are some Menace themes in this set that Hunted Nightmare works with for constructed play, for standard play. That could be really sweet there. And those are the constructed formats that I could see Hunted Nightmare in, right? Standard like red-black aggro. Or like maybe one of my janky legacy decks. You can tell what I'm more excited about. I actually have been having a lot of fun playing Rakdos and Standard, so probably both equally. That art's sweet too. I don't know why, but I always like creatures with just like way too many eyeballs. They always look terrifying to me. That's true, there's no downside if the opponent doesn't have any creatures in play. So Dark Ritual is in play on turn 1. Bam, just got a 4/5 menace. You have a hard time seeing in Standard. Those are some pretty good stats. There's some pretty good stats. When you see the other Menace Matters cards in this set, it might make more sense in Standard to you. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Insatiable Hemophage, 3 and a black for a 3/3 with Death Touch. All right, so already fine stats, right? Already solid and fucking amazing art. Look, it's like sucking the blood from the ram, like mystically, like through the air. It's terrifying. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. So a little bit of drain involved. As with like pretty much all of these cards in limited, like you're pretty much always going to play them just because the base cost is so reasonable, right? 4 mana for a 3/3 with Death Touch. You don't need to drain the opponent very often for this card to be good. And then every once in a while, the board's going to stall out, and you'll end up winning the game off the ability. It's hard for me to value this card too highly because there's no like value attached. It's hard for me to say that you should be like choosing this as a mutate payoff and playing into it. But it's certainly not a bad card. The alt art, oh my god. Oh my god. Somehow that's more terrifying to me. Jesus. Lurking Deadeye, 3 and a black, 4/2 with Flash. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Okay, so we've seen similar cards in black, right? Like we've had the 3 mana, the 4 mana 3/3. It's pretty recent, pretty reasonable. The fact that this has Flash means that when your opponent attacks, they have to worry about this coming down on the end of combat, right? Makes it a whole lot more vulnerable. And means I think I like this card a lot more. Since you can use it on their turn and your turn. Is this crazy with First Strike? Oh yeah, it's very good with First Strike. You let First Strike happen, then Flash in Lurking Deadeye. Yeah, there's a few different Death Touch synergies that play super well with First Strike. And there are a few white cards that can get First Strike in this set, so I think Black-White might be a limited archetype. Just to ruin some folks in combat. Obviously not constructed playable, but pretty good and limited. If the sorcery speed version is good and limited, then this one's great, right? Alright, Memory Leak. 2 and a black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from that player's graveyard or hand and exile it, cycling 1. Nice. Yeah, you put cycling 1 on things, and all of a sudden they become pretty damn reasonable. But this is the sort of card where you would play it as filler in your sealed or draft deck sometimes anyway. Even though it's kind of clunky. Like being able to take their bomb is just so good. And then being able to cycle it when the opponent's hellbent, or if you just like don't have time to spend 3 mana on a discard spell. Nice little card. Mutual Destruction, black sorcery. The spell has Flash as long as you control a permanent with Flash. And we just saw a black common with Flash right next to it. So not hard to turn on. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature. Okay, so we've seen this as a sorcery without the ability to gain Flash, without the ability to play it at instant speed. We've seen this as a sorcery a lot, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially in some archetypes. It doesn't fit every deck. If like every one of your creatures matters, if you've got like a low creature count in your deck, like say for limited, that would be like 9 or 10 creatures, and they're all fairly large and they're all fairly important to winning the game. Then a card like Mutual Destruction is not going to have much fodder to sacrifice. But if you've got, like for example, cards like Durable Coilbug in your deck, that you don't mind sacrificing at all. They're like, they're almost specifically to be sacrificed. Then all of a sudden you've got a really reasonable removal spell on your hands. And then at sorcery speed, I'm still talking about the sorcery speed aspect. At sorcery speed, you can still sacrifice creatures that have been answered with like pacifisms. Pacifism is in this format. Blue has enchantment-based removal as well. You're sacrificing those and removing the inherent card disadvantage of it as well. And then you're destroying target creatures, so that's like a really good removal ability. Now, now imagine you have something with flash in play, and the card starts to get even better. Because now you can respond to removal. You can respond to removal, or you can do the block sacrifice thing, where you block the opponent's second best creature that's attacking you, and then you sacrifice it to kill the best creature that's attacking you, and you just blow out their combat in that way, really efficiently for just 1 black mana. So kind of a build around normally at sorcery speed, and then starting to get like quite strong once you have something with flash in play. Not a constructed playable, obviously. Just talking about it for limited. The places where I like it. Alpha into a big creature and sack whatever it blocks. I mean, you could just make it so that the big creature doesn't block by killing it in the first place, right? Well, yeah, look at the rarity. Oh my god. I deserved that. I deserved that. That was a good ribbing. Alright, Mythos of Nithroi. 2 and a black, instant, destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature. Or if you spend Abzan to cast the spell. So if you're only spending black mana to cast this, or some combination that's not Abzan mana, you're only killing a creature. And if you have Abzan mana, you can kill any kind of a permanent, including planeswalkers and such. Which makes this interesting for constructed, right? 3 mana to pop a planeswalker. You do have to be Abzan colors, so that's pretty narrow. But if you're Abzan anyway, it starts to get interesting. I think when you're looking at Pioneer, I think this card's going to see some play. I think when you're looking at Modern, this card is probably not going to see some play. I think it'd be more interesting in Modern if like Twin was still legal, because then you would need to have more instant speed answers to things. But in these colors in Modern, I think Maelstrom Pulse is a better card with the ability to hit multiple things. I don't think the difference between instant speed and sorcery speed is enough of a difference. So that's that card. And obviously, you're going to play it every time you open it in limited, right? It's a good removal spell. But note that it is just removal. So if you get this in your sealed pool, it's not like some bomb where you have to play black. It's pretty easy to splash for, but it's not like a reason to be black in and of itself, more so than like Blood Curdle, for example. Like 3 mana to destroy a creature versus 4 mana to destroy a creature and get a menace counter on another creature. I'd actually probably rather have Blood Curdle in limited. Great card, though. Alright, Night Squad Commando. 2 and a black. When Night Squad Commando enters the battlefield, if you attack this turn, create a 1/1 white human. So it's got like Raid, get a 1/1. I feel like we've seen this in white. Note that they are humans. Both the creature and the token that it generates are both humans. So a pretty solid card for the Human Matters decks. There's some white commons that have payoffs for a bunch of humans. So there might be some kind of a go-wide strategy here. Yeah, Mardu Horde Chief, that's the one. I agree, Bubbles. There are a nice variety of styles to the art in this set. I really like how Wizards has embraced the alt arts recently. It's been really cool. Serrated Scorpion, 1 black, 1/2. When Serrated Scorpion dies, deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. So this is the sort of card that appeals to a lot of newer players.
Oh shit, what up?
But 1 mana for a 1/2 is not a rate that should be making your limited deck very often. You have to be like really into sacrificing things before you want a card like this, I think. Hey Wiznerd, thanks for the sub, thanks for sharing that Twitch Prime. How many of these would you have to have in your deck? They do get better in multiples, maybe. Like, the more death triggers you have, the less work it is to kill the opponent. How many do you have to have before it starts to seem like a really good card? Maybe 10? If you got 10 Serrated Scorpions in a deck. Is this good just for mutate targets? Oh yeah, just 1 mana 1/1s. Just any 1 mana creature at all. Mutate onto it, start serving. And then you have a death touch trigger as well. Don't sleep on this one. Well, you shouldn't be sleeping on any cards. It's not good for them. Even if they're sleeved, you still don't want to sleep on them. Yeah, I think I agree with that analysis, that its biggest draw is as a cheap mutate target. But if there is a sacrifice deck, and you're really looking for bodies, that's where I would normally see a card like Serrated Scorpion. Alright, Suffocating Fumes, 2 and a black. Instant. Creatures your opponent's control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Nice. And then it's got Cycling. They had the 1 black version of this in a master set recently. And it didn't have Cycling. This card's sweet. It's like if your opponent has X1s, then you're like already getting value. And if you get to like blow out combat with it by shrinking all their things, it's nice. I like this effect a lot better than, like, say, the blue card that gives all of your opposing creatures -2/-0, because the -1 means that this might actually just kill something by itself. And then if you can win combat on top of that, it goes from being like a fine removal spell to like a blowout, right? Good in Pauper. Oh yeah, this card will see Pauper play. If Electrickery sees Pauper play, this card has to, right? Suck it, Annex tokens. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're damn right. You're damn right. Suck it, Annex tokens. Anyway. Unbreakable Bond. 4 and a black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a lifelink counter on it. Sorcery. There are some lifelink matters effects in this format for black. 5 mana reanimated thing is like never super exciting. It's not as good as just... It's often not as good as just like playing a 5 mana thing, like a 5 mana creature, because you need to have an exciting creature in your graveyard already before this becomes like good. And usually if a creature is exciting enough, it's not going to the graveyard because it's better than what the opponent has already. Anyway, just more situational than just having another threat, but not a terrible card. Also, it's saying your graveyard, right? So when reanimation effects can get any graveyard, then all of a sudden your removal becomes pretty good because you can kill your opponent's best thing and then reanimate it. But that's not what this is. Unexpected Fangs. Oh no. How unexpected. 1 in a black, put a 1/1 counter and a lifelink counter on target creature. Yeah, there's a ton of black lifelink, isn't there? This card effect seems pretty fillerish to me. Like, it's a pump spell, but it's a pump spell that doesn't win combat every time. All the lifelink in the format makes me think that the format's probably slower. Makes me think that it's going to be hard to, like, just kill someone immediately. Unlikely Aid, 1 in a black. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. So it's like a female witch getting carried by some no-eyed monster. I like how most of the monsters in this format have just like way too goddamn many eyes. And this one's just like no eyes. So one or the other. Like Void Beckoner also has no eyes. I guess that's terrifying, right? Like having the normal number of eyes. Yeah, another one with like just all the eyes in the goddamn world. All the eyes in the goddamn world here. And this one too, yeah. Anyway, we've seen +2/+0 and indestructible until end of turn. We've seen this before. It's fine. A fine trick. It's filler. I consider them filler. Some people like them more than others. Combat tricks, that is. Void Beckoner, 6 black, 8/8 Death Touch. So that's a huge cost, right? 8 mana. But if the format is slower, maybe you just get there sometimes. And then you can cycle it to put a Death Touch counter on target creature you control. So instant speed, Death Touch. Instant speed, permanent Death Touch. Really, really nice with first strike. If you can get some first strikers. Blow people the fuck out. Oh good, Space Godzilla. Whisper Squad. One black for a 1/1. And then 1 in a black, search your library for a card named Whisper Squad, put it in the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. This card's interesting. Squadron Hawk effects are usually pretty interesting. This one has to live, right? And you have to like play it and then have the mana to activate it. Whereas Squadron Hawk just like pulls them all out of your deck immediately. And has flying. So it's no Squadron Hawk. But is it playable? 2 mana to put them into play is a lot better than 2 mana to put them into your hand. I don't know. It probably depends on how many of them you have, right? If you really want to sack something, yeah. If you really want sacrifice fodder. What, if you have 20 of them? If you have 20 of them, it's going to be pretty busted. Yeah, I think if you just have like 2 or 3, Whisper Squad is not worth it at all. It's not worth putting 1 mana 1/1s in your deck. I guess people were talking about like having small creatures to mutate onto is really nice though. So maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, we'll see how good cheap creatures are in this format. If they're like worth running just as 1 mana 1/1s to mutate onto. Oh, they're humans, so you can't mutate onto it. Never mind. I think this card's kind of bad. Because like I said, if like 3 of this sort of effect isn't good enough. Oh, but then you have the human tribal thing going on. Maybe you have human payoffs. Like the white 3/2 that pumps all your humans when it attacks. If they're 1 mana 2/1s instead of 1 mana 1/1s, that's quite different, right? Still need like 6. I was thinking 4 or 5. They start to become interesting. Which is the point where Squadron Hawk started to become like busted, and these would just like become interesting. Yeah, humans can't mutate. That's been clarified. Thank you, chat. You got the Drain Enchantment. Could be a human payoff. Yeah, Doomwake. I was saying it's obviously worse than Squadron Hawk. No one's. Oh man. That's what I was saying. Once you have like 4 or 5 of this, it starts to become interesting, as opposed to like whereas Squadron Hawk would be busted at 4 or 5. Anyway. You think it'd be interesting if they were 1/2s? They would combine in combat a lot better if they were 1/2s. Yeah, I think you almost have to be like go wide human aggro to play them. Alright, Zagoth Mamba, 1 black for a 1/1. Whenever this creature mutates, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. What? Alright, now this is the 1/1 that you want to mutate onto. Holy shit. Yeah, if you kill like one thing with your 1 mana 1/1 mutator, then that's like fantastic. Because you'd almost just like want to have an early creature to mutate onto anyway. I think you can like pack 1, pick 1 this. If you don't have enough mutate things to mutate it consistently though, then you've got a 1 mana 1/1 that doesn't do anything. So that's the downside, right? Really high risk, high reward card. Having 1 mana 1/1 that doesn't do anything is like kind of like not having a card is the issue. There's a lot of good mutate. There is, and a lot of it's at like common, right? But that doesn't mean that you'll get enough to make it consistent. Is why I give it the qualifier. Blazing Volley. Like if someone's like aggressively drafting Mutate to the right of you, there's a chance you don't get enough. Because if you only have like 3 or 4 ways of triggering this in your deck, it becomes a lot less good. Still good, but way less good.